Hello, welcome again to another session of data analysis for final year students with Bunya Neville Anya. Okay, so far we have seen how to pre-process our data in the last session, and in this session we are going to begin some basic analysis. Okay, usually we have students, especially in undergraduate, most of their questionnaires are made to be close-ended questions. So, how are we going to analyze these close-ended questions? Remember, in the last video, I explained to you we are going to use Maxqda. We are using Maxqda version 20. That's 2020. We're using Maxqda for this process. And we are going to see how to import this data we have collected, this survey data we have collected, into Maxqda, and how we are going to perform basic analysis and extract relevant information from this. So let's get right into it. Like I said, most of the activities we are going to carry out in this video will only be possible if you have a licensed version of Maxqda. So it is important that you get yourself a license for Maxqda so that you can have access to all the features. Okay, let's go right into it. Let's open Maxqda. So once you install that program, is going to launch. We are using version 20, that's 2022. We are here. Straight away, when we get into when you launch Maxqda, you get into this project. You can either open a new project, start a new project, or you can open a saved project, or you can view examples from Maxqda. Okay, now we have recently opened projects. These are projects that are recently opened in this application. Projects are recently opened in this application, and here we have the user information. We have the user information. This is the name of the PC. So we are just going to go straight into new project. When you click on new project, you'll be asked to input your name. So I want us to work in this folder. I'm going to give a new name here. Let's call this Henry. I'm just giving any name. You can use any name of your choice to title your project. Let's call it Henry. So I'll click on Henry is open now. This is Maxqda. Let me give you preliminaries here. Maxqda, let's go back to the home tab. Maxqda, we have 4 windows or segments that are opened within Maxqda. These are the 4 segments. We have the document system, we have the code system, we have the document browser, we have the retrieve segment. Now, what are the functions of this segment? If we import a questionnaire, or if we import a document, or if we import survey data, this data will be found in the document system. Will be found here within the document system. Now, when we begin coding, we are coding open-ended questions. The codes will be found in the code system. Now, to browse the information contained within a particular document will be found in the document browser. And now when we select specific codes and specific documents, we're going to have the sections that have been selected. The codes that have been selected is going to retrieve the section that is having that code, and we'll see that in the retrieve segment. So these are the segments we can have, and now we can change the view of this of these segments from this panel. Okay, you see, when I click on this, it changes the view of the segments. You understand? Just like that. So let's go back. Yeah, I think we're somewhere there. No. We're here. Good. So we have this. Are we in phase? So this is the interface. This is a basic interface of Maxqda. And now, if we intend to import survey data, that is the data you have pre-processed. The data you have pre-processed. We'll go to import. Now, let's say you are performing qualitative study. Okay, with qualitative study, it means each participant will have a file. Each participant you interview will have a file that corresponds to what? All the answers the participant gave. Or you will still have an Excel sheet that carries every information the participant gave. You understand? I have shown you how to design close-ended questions and open-ended questions using EpiInfo and Google Docs, which are free tools. That is why I showed you, because you are students. You can go back and watch the previous videos for this for this playlist. It is therein. And I will urge you to like and subscribe to the channel so that you will get notifications for new videos concerning data analysis for final year students. Okay, so we can either import those documents individually from the text, PDFs and tables section, okay, or we can import survey data, which is an Excel spreadsheet, the spreadsheet we had, this spreadsheet. Now, when we are working with Maxqda, there are some preliminaries that we need to, preliminary actions that we need to perform in the spreadsheet. Like this spreadsheet, we started in the last video, we started data pre-processing with this, and now we want to import this data into Maxqda. I'm just going to open a data that has been pre-processed already. Okay, this is it. We have this data. Now, if you check this column, okay, we have participants, and you check this column, we have groups. This is very important. Okay, this is very important, as it's going to group. Maybe we have three sets of this same of similar information as such. Okay, now this group will be different from that of the other document. You get the point? And we have participants that is giving, is like a serial number to every candidate we interviewed. So it is imperative we insert these two columns at the beginning of the data. Maxqda is going to recognize this automatically. Okay, we have the group, so we give them participant ID. And as such. Okay, good. Now let's go back to Maxqda and import this data. Now you have to take note of this data we have pre-processed. When you import this data into Maxqda, the closed-ended question, it will be impossible for you to change any parameter in the closed-ended questions. This is because in Maxqda, the possibility to do that for closed-ended questions is, maybe it's there, but I've not been able to locate that, where you can edit closed-ended questions. But there is possibility for us to edit open-ended questions in Maxqda. That is why it is imperative that you make sure you have conduct pre-processing of your data before you import this data into the analysis application. Okay, preliminary study have been performed here. We're just going to import that to give you a guide on what you're supposed to do. Okay, now let us go back to Maxqda. We have Maxqda. Let us import survey data. Okay, you can either import from survey data. We have documents from Excel spreadsheet. So let's import survey data. Good. We have, what is this? Yes, we select this document. Good. Now we have the document group. You see why we had to import the column for document group, and we have document name. Okay, there's a reason why we import the column for document group. We are going to set that to group, and the document name we are going to set it to participants. Okay, we're going to set it to participants. Now you see that when you select document group, is unchecked here in the code section, the variable section, it is unchecked. When you select participants, it's unchecked. Why is it unchecked? Because these two are not part of our questionnaire. You understand? These two are not part of our questionnaire. So if you look at this, we have the age, we have now Maxqda automatically identifies, it detects that a particular question is a closed-ended question or an open-ended question by default when you import your data. So you see, it has recognized that this may be an open-ended question. That is why I set it to this point. But then in the questionnaire, in the data we have uploaded, it is a closed-ended question. Likewise, these two, they are both closed-ended questions according to the researcher, not us, because this researcher conducted this research without the preliminary studies that I gave. Are we there? Without the preliminary studies that I have given on how to design your questionnaire and on how to collect your data. Okay, because if the researcher has done so, then most of these questions will be open-ended questions where we'll have to perform coding. Nonetheless, we are going to import another data that has open-ended questions, and we are going to see how to perform coding. Okay, we have this. I think there is one open-ended question there. This question should be open-ended question. Yes, should be open-ended question. Yes. So we have this now. Let us go down. We have quotes and variables. The variables are the closed-ended questions, while the quotes are the open-ended questions. Then we have quote empty cells. Do you intend to quote empty cells? I will advise you leave this unchecked. You leave it unchecked as such. Are you there? Leave it unchecked as such, because if you quote empty cells, then we are going to the application is going to include these empty cells when they are performing descriptive statistics or any value you want to obtain, any information you want to obtain in the result section. So allow these empty cells to be empty, unchecked, to be unchecked. Now let us import this data. Now a new window is going to pop up, and it's going to tell us the type of data we have. We have age. You see, it is recognizing this age range as text. Okay, it's recognizing it as text. Meanwhile, this is integer. Okay, it's integer. Yes, I can change it to integer as such. Okay, now we have text single. Yes, that is integer. Yes or no, all of these are text. Okay, but then you notice that most of these questions, they were not supposed to be closed-ended questions as we are seeing, but this researcher had no idea of what we have studied in previous lessons. So that is the importance of you taking this course from the very beginning. Okay, now we have this. Let us import this data. Okay, we have changed this to integer. Let us import this data. Okay, good. Good. We have imported text 227, imported quotes 1, imported variables 20. Let us close this all. Now if you're performing analysis for a master's thesis or a PhD thesis, it will be important for you to copy this and put it in your results section. Okay, to give a summary of what you imported and so on. Okay, now we have these documents. Let's select these documents. You see, we're not going to have anything in the browser, document browser, because we have just one code. We have limited information here because we have just one code, just one single code. Okay, and you see that this particular question we have chosen as an open-ended question. In the questionnaire itself, in the data collected, it was a close-ended question. You see, it was a close-ended question. So you have to take note of all of these, okay, and make sure that your open-ended questions are treated properly. Okay, now that we have this data as such, how do we extract? Now you see, when I select the code, we have the retrieve segment. It's retrieving it from all the documents, okay, from all the 227 documents. Is retrieving it. Okay. Now we have this code. How can we check if there are other parameters within this code that we can use? Let's go to the word cloud. Okay, the word cloud. Remember, I'm teaching you how to get your data analyzed and how to extract relevant information as a result. I'm not teaching you how to use Maxqda. Okay, there are numerous applications of Maxqda. You as a researcher should be specific. Okay, so I'm giving you a summary of all the subsections that you are going to study if you intend to use Maxqda. So to create a new code, let's begin here. To create a new code, we come to this new code section, this plus sign here. We can create a new code and select a text from here. Okay, you give the title of the code, you style it with a color, or I can select this, okay, and I take code this what I've selected with new code. Okay, code what I've selected with new code. You get the point. Now I can equally come to them. If once I've selected all these documents, I select all the codes in the retrieve segment. You see there are other options I don't know. There are other options I don't know. You understand? There are other options I don't know, not just this option. So what do I intend to do? I intend to create another code for I don't know. Okay, I intend to create another code for I don't know. So what am I going to do? I'll go to the word cloud section. When I click on word cloud, you see it has extracted all the words within this statement we have here. Okay, you see, held, during, and to, and so on. We can equally get to the words within this section by going to the word frequencies. Word frequency. Okay, going to the word frequency. You see, we have all of these. Now when you look at, let's close this, or you can as well go to the same word frequency by going to Maxqda. When you go to Maxqda, you're going to select word frequencies. Now if you check here, we have this box is checked. Let's uncheck it. We have only for activated documents. Only for activated documents. These are activated documents. Are we there? We have only for retrieve segment window. If you click on only for retrieve segment window, it's going to extract information that is within the retrieve segment window. Are you there? The information that is within this retrieve segment window is going to extract it. Okay. Now we can limit the number of characters. Okay, the number of characters. This limit the minimum number of characters means if you have words like I, if you have words like we, if you have words like you, since we have limited the minimum number of characters to 4, we're not going to see those words. Okay, we're not going to see them. But then if you set this to 1, then words like I, you, we are going to see them if we open the word frequency. Okay, when we get to word frequency, you see whatsoever we had before, we have it now. Okay, but then this I don't know is not featuring. You get a point? It's not featuring. It's not featuring. Let us see if we can create a code for that. When I click on I don't know pops up here. I'm going to create a code for this. Let me call it I don't know. Okay, I'm going to style it with this color, and I click on that. We see we have new code created. Now when you create a new code, are we there? At this section where you have this box, we have what we call memos. What is the importance of this memo? When you are creating, we are going to see this in details in the next video. When you are creating your codes, are we there? All this long text we have placed here in this code is not necessary. Okay, we are going to see that how to abbreviate this code. Now the full information concerning this code will be placed in the memo. In this memo, are we there? We'll place the full information in this memo. So at this point we can change this. We can change this to if yes. Okay, I can just change that to if yes. If yes, it's not going to change because this is a code we use from the imported data. Okay, but then we have I don't know. Now if what is this code signifying? Let us look for that questionnaire. We have data analysis. Okay, if yes, what is menstrual hygiene? Okay, this is a question. Have you heard about menstrual hygiene? Okay, have you heard about menstrual hygiene? Normally some people will say no and some people will say yes. You see, this candidate who said no says I don't know about menstrual hygiene. So we are going to create a new code. Are we there? For this question like this, we'll create a code, a primary code with current yes or no. So at this point we can create a primary code. We create a primary code here. We'll just title it heard. Okay, we click on OK. This is a primary code. Let's carry it and make it up there. It's a primary code. Now inside this primary code, okay, we can change the color. Like that for the code. Inside this primary code, okay, we want to create two subcodes. For yes or no. Okay, then now these two will fall under the yes or no section. Inside this primary code, we'll create two subcodes for yes or no. This is a case where you have clearly specified that this question is an open-ended question. Are you there? It's an open-ended question. Okay, we're going to create two subcodes. You see, when you come here, heard. Now what will be inside the memo? We click here. We're going to create new memo. So the question there is, have you ever heard about menstrual hygiene? So we're going to type it here. Have you ever heard about menstrual hygiene? That is the entire question. So this is how we use memos. Now this memo is created. If I hover on this memo, if I take my mouse on this memo, as I hover over it like that, you see I have the full information. Why do you include memos when you are performing analysis? These memos are going to help you. Let's say at the beginning of this video, we saw some projects that have been created already. Let's say we started analyzing and there is power failure or whatsoever happens and you have to stop. Now we have heard. If there is no information telling us about heard, how are we going to know what that code represents? Are we there? So you see that this is a question being asked, heard. So let's create a new code. We're going to call this code yes. Are we there? We'll call this code yes, and we'll create another new code. We'll create a new code and we'll call it no. Okay, so you see we have two subcodes in the head section. I'm going to change their colors in the head section. Now You see, no. Now we have these two codes here that are found within the document. Okay, these two codes that are found within the document. So I'm going to carry this. I'm going to carry this and I make it a subcode inside no, and I'm going to carry this and I make it a subcode inside yes. You get the point? You see, now we have heard. Have you heard about this? So if this questionnaire was an open-ended questionnaire, all of it, we'll code everything here and our analysis will be perfect. You see, when we perform this, you see this is changing already. Okay, this is changing already. You get the point? So now we already have codes within our data. Now let us, since this researcher decided to use close-ended questions mostly, let us go to reporting. Okay, this is how we create codes. We are going to see more about creating of codes in the next video. Let us go to reporting. Now we have variables. We have import variables. No. List document variables. No. Okay, list document variables. Let's click on that. You see, it gives us all the variables we have in our document. Okay, these are the variables we have in our document that we have created, and the ones we have decided to use as integer and as text. These are variables. Let's see, select columns, list document variables, data editor, and so on. Okay, data editor, let me see. We click on data editor. H diverse single. No, let's close this. Okay, we have export document variables. No, we don't want this. List of code variables, data editor for code variables. No, we don't want all of this. Okay, so in the variable section you have so many things to do with the variables you have imported. Those close-ended questions are considered as variables in Maxqda. You have so many things to do here. Then let's go to analytics. Let's go to analytics. We have reset activations. No, we have logic, Lec06 complex coding query. No, complex coding query. No, cross compare cases and groups. Compare cases and groups. Yes, we can use this. Then we have grid, summary grid. We have summary tables. We have export summary. Good. But then let me tell you, you the researcher, you want to get results. Okay, remember I told you for each question you should know what you are analyzing. In the close-ended question, I want the frequency table that will give me the frequencies and their percentages. That is what I want. Let's say for ages, and I want the mean value. You get the point? I want the mean value. If we go to mixed methods, we have activate documents by variables, code metrics, interactive code metrics. We have the cross tabs and so on. Cross tabs will be relating a particular question in your questionnaire to another question. Okay, how they relate. Okay, then visual tools. We have the max maps. We have the code metrics browser. We have the code relation browser. How the codes are related. Okay, like for instance, if we take activate code section, let's activate the code section. If we click on code relations, activated codes, yes, good. You see, this is your relation. It's kind of thinner. We have these codes have no relations and will be ignored. Heard, yes, no. The codes have no relations and will be ignored. You get the point? They have no relations and will be ignored. When you come here, the code map, this will take you to the code map. It tells you it has no relations and will be ignored. You get the point? Then let us look at good. If we give their sums, okay, display notes as circles. Okay, just to change the notes as figures. So this we see relationships. Okay, you see relationships. Okay, so if you have many codes with relations, you're going to have that there. Okay, now we have reports. Smart publisher, summaries, no, in your questionnaire, we want stats. Go to stats. Are we there? Go to statistics. Go to statistics. You click on OK. Now we have starts with all documents, starts with activated documents, starts with activated documents and quotes, starts with external files. So we are going to start with activated documents and quotes. It's going to load everything. Okay, we are now inside Maxqda statistics, and the title of the project is Henry. We have the data editor, we have the variable list, and we have the output viewer. Whatsoever we are doing in these statistics, whatsoever statistics you are obtaining will be found in the output, will be exported in the output viewer. You can see it clearly. So okay, we have file, we have open, external file, new, external file, and so on. Save. We have view, we have data editor. Let's go back to data editor. We have transform, compute new variables. You can compute new variables here. Okay. Recode into new variable, recode into same variable. Then we have descriptive statistics, which is where our interest lies. We have the frequencies and we have the descriptive statistics. Now you have to note that descriptive statistics will be possible if you have integers. Okay, if you have integers. What do we mean by integers? Figures in the data set. Figures, a column that has figures like this, we have in the data set. Then we did something at the beginning of this analysis. Where we considered age. We considered age to be what? To be integer. You see, everything that is inside it has switched to zero. So when Maxqda identifies a particular column as text, okay, let me see if we can change that here. Reset sorting, select column. When Maxqda identify a particular variable as text, it is imperative that you allow it the way it is. Okay, you allow it the way it is. Let us see if we can. Okay, measures intervals. If we go to measures ordinal, measures normal, measures interval. Okay, once it identifies it as text or integer, it is imperative that you allow it the way it is. If not, you're going to fall into this same situation. Okay. Let's close that and we get back here. Let's go to document variables, data editor for variables. Let's see if we can switch these to, where do we get integers? This is age, no, you see it is sorry, we have data editor for variables and activated quotes, no. You see that by changing this variable, like I said, Maxqda has some minor limitations, as I can put it, especially when it comes to quantitative data. Once Maxqda has identified a particular item as text or integers, are we there? It is imperative you allow it the way Maxqda sees that data, because now we have a 0 there. Let's just go to stats and we take OK. Start with activated documents. Good. Now let's go to frequencies. So I'm just going to input age there. You double click like that. You're going to have the frequencies of whatsoever is within this question. Click on OK. Good. So you see we have age 0. Nothing is given there because we changed that from integer, from text to integer. Meanwhile, we had age groups at the beginning. Okay, so if I close this session, don't save. Oh sorry, I'm closing something else. If I close this session and I close this and I come here, let's go to import. I want to delete this interview, delete the interview. yes, and I want to delete this code, and I want to import that same data again. We import this, and we are going to take age now as we did this before. Participants, allow it that way. Good. And here, good, good. So we click on OK. Yes, this is now seen. Age. You see, now we already saw this before. Okay, we saw this before. So it is not, we saw this before, and it's not seeing it as the second time. You understand? I hope it's going to respect it as text this time around. So let's just import and see what we get. Let's import and see what we get. We're going to close this, select this document. Let's go to document variable. This document variable. Age. It's still seeing it as integer. You understand? This is a problem. It's still seeing it as integer. Age is still seeing it as integer. So we have to, this is a problem. You have to take note of this when you are performing your analysis. When you're performing your analysis, there is a trick in Maxqda. You have to take note of that, okay, to be displayed. Okay, so we have integer here, integer there, memos, integer, code segment, integer, yes. The variables, set filter, document variable statistics. You see, this, once we have already set this thing in this project as a text, it is difficult for us to change it. Okay, so we are going to switch this. We are going to switch this and create maybe a new project or something. That is why it is imperative that you enter the right. So even after deleting the document, we are still seeing it in this project. We are still seeing age as we are still seeing age as text, as integer, sorry. So this is a problem. You understand? You close that, delete this. Let's just start a new project with, this time around we are going to call it rows. We're going to call it rows. So this is an issue with Maxqda. You cannot change this variable once it's already selected. Rows. Let's import survey data. We have this data. Now you're going to see that it will change. It's not going to recognize it as text, as an old feature again. Have you heard about this hygiene? It's a yes or no question. Leave it there at that point, or we can just switch this to this. Okay, then change this. Yes, leave it there. Yes, we take, okay, you see, now we see new text. Everything that is new because we have opened a new document. Now we are going to visualize this. All the problems we are facing is because we are using hyphens here, 20 to 30, even though there are figures in it. That hyphen, Maxqda is seeing it as text. You get the point? As text. It is imperative that we see these problems because we are going to encounter this when we are performing analysis of our research data. So allow this as text. This is the only integer we have seen in the Maxqda has seen in the data set. So import this. Okay, now we have, close this. We have two, let me select this. We have two codes. Already. There's a primary code here which we are going to use. There's a primary code here which we are going to use. Now in this primary code, I want us to, we have selected this primary code. Let's unselect this one. We have this primary code. I want us to go to word cloud. We have yes or no. Okay, we have yes or no. If we click on yes, you see we have yes. Let us create a new code. Are we there? Let us create a new code for yes. We're going to type to this code yes, just as we did before. On that, good. Yes is there. We auto code. Good. Now let us take the next for that question. It's a yes or no question. We have no. We auto code it. Good. So we have this. Okay, this. We close this. Now we have two codes within these codes. Have you heard? Okay, we have two codes now. If yes is a subcode under, let's go the word cloud. I showed you how to get web frequencies. We'll give you the codes that are in that retrieve segment. Now if yes is a code that is under yes, so we are going to carry if yes and we bring it there. So you see we have a subcode here. Okay, now if yes, I want us to get to give us yes. If yes, what next? This code. If yes, I want us to select just this. Good. I want it to give me this particular section. Okay, let's code this. By clicking on this code here, it's going to carry you to this section where you can code it. Now for those who said no, you see that this is coming from I don't know. You see, it's coming from I don't know. So we are going to extract this I don't know and set it to no. So we create a new code. We have code with new code. We have comment. Let's give it comment. No, let's just put it I don't know. Good. And I take OK. So we have I don't know. Where is it? I don't know. We have to carry this code and bring it under no. So those who said no, they now have a new code I don't know. So you see what we had before, we're still having it. Now in this memo we are going to put the question there. The question there is have you ever heard about this? Yes, the memo is okay. And now here we can, like I said, we have, when you click on this, there are so many things you have here. Okay, there are so many options you have here. So, like I said at the beginning, you can change this to heard. Heard. You see that in heard we have it, and when you come to the memo, you have you ever heard? It gives you that information. Now let's go back to descriptive to stats. This is where we stopped. So we are looking at open, start with activated codes. We click on that. Let's go to frequencies. I'm just going to add them there, all the questions there, good. And I click on this. Now I can generate, you see we have these age groups now, appearing now. Okay, and we have the total valid cases 227. The number of missing cases is 0. Okay, it means everybody answered this question. The total, we have this. Then we have the frequency, we have the percentage, we have the valid percentage. Okay, we have the cumulative percentage. So it's going to give you, now to obtain the charts, we go to the chart section. You can either have your chart as such, okay, or you have a pie chart as such. Now you can style this, okay, by choosing different colors, or you can come here and you choose a different color set. It's going to change it. You understand? So we have these percentages here. You can remove the percentage, which will give you just their frequencies, or you remove the frequency as well, which will give you just the chart, or you feed that frequency and you feed in the percentage, or you remove the frequency. You see, when you remove the frequency, the percentage cannot be there, so you feed in frequency and you give it the percentage. Okay, then you can add a title bar below by clicking on this text here. Display text is going to add a title bar below. Are we there? Then we have the legend, the display legend. This display legend, you can remove it as well as you can put the display legend. So this will give you your information. Now you can either copy this, because remember, in H we want to get their frequencies and we want to get their mean value, but then we cannot get mean value for this, because at this point you see descriptive statistics is not activated for H, because this is not what? An integer. Descriptive statistics will only be activated if it is an integer. You get the point? So we cannot get descriptive statistics for this H because it's recognizing it as a text. Okay, now we have this. Okay, now how can you make this text? How can you make this text in such a way that you can obtain descriptive statistics for it? It's by coding this text. You understand? Because Maxqda recognizes all the codes as integers. It's by coding this text. If we set this text that we have as a code rather than a variable, okay, we will be able to obtain descriptive statistics for it. And now, how do you get this to your work document or your Word document, your Word file? Yes, I'm still using Word 13. Okay, I'm still using Word 13. How do you get this to that Word file? You can either copy this. Here. You take it to the Word document. What happened? You didn't copy. You can either copy this here and take it to what happened here? What is happening here? You can either copy like that. I don't know why it's not copying, but I get. Let me export this to output view and see what I get. Oh, the program is misbehaving. Yes, when we export to output viewer, we have it in the output viewer section. When I copy this, I don't know why I can't get it into Word. What is happening to? No. Okay, no, cancel. Let's copy what is in the output viewer. You take Ctrl A, you highlight everything and you copy. Let's see if this is going to paste. I want to check if it is my. Okay, we have pasted it there. Then you adjust this. Okay, you adjust this. But Maxqda gives you options to copy this directly from here without getting into that. I don't know why it's not working now. So this is how you export this information. If you want to export the table, you can copy this table as well, and you get to your Word document. You paste that table. You see the table is pasting, but when we copy the chart, I don't know why it is not responding. Okay, when we copy the chart is not responding. Okay, you just export it. There should be a problem, but when you copy it in another piece, you will copy. I don't know why it's misbehaving like this now. Okay, so we have that. Let us round up this video. Now this is what you get. Okay, this is what you get. So you can decide and you say, when you click on this, it's going to export all the charts. Let's go to the frequency tables first. It's going to export all the charts. Now when I click on this, a question is going to come up. Include descriptive statistics. This is because where we have level of education, we have just integers in that column. Okay, in that column. That's why it's asking if we should include descriptive statistics. So we are going to take yes. It's going to include descriptive statistics. So if I carry this way, you see we have the various tables. Okay, Then when you get to where you have level of education, this is level of education, we have the frequencies and everything as before. Then now you have the descriptive statistics, the mean, the standard deviation, the variance, the minimum value, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, the maximum value, the range. There are other options in descriptive statistics that you can add, okay, by going to descriptive statistics. You click on that, you see there are other variables you can add here, like the 95% confidence interval for mean, the standard error, and so on. You can add, okay. And now when you click on descriptive statistics, you see that the only variable available there is the level of education, which is integer. But when you get to quotes, you see that all the quotes are there, okay. All the quotes are there. You can get descriptive statistics for the code. So by making age a code rather than a variable, you'll be able to obtain descriptive statistics for the age. You get the point? Okay, so we have this. Now we can just highlight everything. We can highlight everything. We copy this and let's feed it in this Word document. We feed everything in this Word document. You see, everything is in this Word document. Now we'll have to edit this. We'll have to edit this because all of this information will not be presented as such. Are we there? Your socio-demographic data will probably be in one table. So you have to extract relevant information like this entire section for all the socio-demographic data, and you put it in one table. Okay, let us close this. Now let's close this viewer. Compare groups. We have cross tabs. We want to compare this question. How often do you change your menstrual material? This is a question. I want to compare it with the age groups, okay? I want to compare with the age groups and see how the various ages they answer. I want to equally compare this with marital status. I want to compare this with level of education. You get the point? So this will appear in the columns and this will appear in the rows. How often? So let's click on that. We have how often. This is a question. Are we there? And we have the ages. We are matching this question with the ages. For this question, we had answers. How often do you change your menstrual material? Some people said every 2 hours. Some people said once a day. Some people said twice a day. Some people said whenever it is fully soaked. Now, what are their ages? Are we there? For every 2 hours, we have the ages 15 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40. Every 2 hours, 3 persons within the age 15 to 20 said every 2 hours. And this here, 15 persons said every 2 hours, and nobody within this age said every 2 hours, okay? Rather, these people here said whenever it's fully soaked, twice a day. You see that at this point, this is we are looking at cross tabs. How the participants relate to a particular question. You get the point? Their ages. From here, you can draw conclusion on your research for this particular topic. Let's look at level of education, marital status. You look at marital status. You see marital status. Those who are divorced. You see, we are having the cross tabs. Now we have absolute percentages. We can give relative percentages. Are we there? Can give relative percentage. And now when you're performing cross tabs, we can check the strength or the how significant is this relationship that we have performed like this. How significant is it to the study? By going to this association of measures. We click on this association of measures. It's going to give us how statistically correct this relationship we have measured is. Now we have a p value of 0.8. Statistically, this relationship is not significant, okay? This relationship we are using to measure how often do you change menstrual material is not significant because we have a p value of 0.8 for a 2-day test. Now, for you to use this, you must have it in your literature that your threshold you'll be using for this research. Your threshold we'll be using for this research is 0.05, which is 5% of your sample. You understand? And now you must reference this 0.05 or the 5% in your references. You must tell the audience where this threshold you are using is coming from. Okay? You don't just get values and you start using it. You say, okay, it's above 0.05 and is not significant. No, you have to tell us why you are using 0.05 and where you got this 0.05 from and how it relates to your research. Okay, so you must specify that. But usually in most cases in research, they are using a test value of 0.05, which is 5, which signifies that 5%, only 5% of the sample population has deviated away from the mean value. So let's look at level of education. Let's look at association of measures. We have 0.09 is still greater than 0.05. Yes, still greater than 0.05, which is still not acceptable. That's 9%. Okay, we look at age, 0.9. So all of this relationship we have performed here is not statistically valid. You understand? Because their test statistic value is greater than 0.05. So we cannot use this. So this is how you obtain results, and you can export this. You can export this, all of this in the retrieve. Yes, include that. Sorry. Yes. Good. So if we export this here, you see, let's just close this and look at this. You see, it has the cross tabs. These are the cross tabs of every question we have done, and it gives you these values. Okay, so you are going to perform this and you're going to extract those relationships that are statistically significant for your research, and those are the ones you're going to report on. Okay, let's clear this. So that is how we perform cross tabs. Now we go to correlation. We want to get the strength of relationship between variables or between questions. Okay, you see, we cannot get correlation for any other question there except this level of education that is integer. When we take Pearson correlation for version 20 is only possible for integer data. Okay, Pearson correlation and Spearman's correlation is only possible for integer data. But if you are using version 22, you will be able to have correlation for non-integer data, that is text, by using Spearman's correlation. Okay, but now when we get to the code section, you see that we can get correlation for all the code. So if you want to get right deep into your research, it is important you code your entire data. And how will you code this entire data? By making it an open-ended question. Make it an open-ended question. Okay, good. So this is how you perform descriptive statistics. You obtain what result you want to obtain and you report it. Now let's say we go back to frequencies. How are you going to discuss these frequencies? How are you going to discuss these frequencies, these ages? Okay, this is the discussion among the participants we interview. Okay, we observe that 172 172 of 227 of these participants falls between the age 21 to 30, which makes 78% of the sample population. Are we there? This is the reporting you are giving on the ages, their percentages, their frequency. Are you there? Then level of marital status. We see that 199% of them were single. Now, if 199% of them were single, when you want to perform cross tabs, you should be performing cross tabs with these single people and a particular question, not the married people, because we see that the divorced people are just 2 and the married people are just 26. So if you are performing cross tabs, you should be performing cross tabs with these single people and the results, because this is a majority of the population. Like I said when we're doing questionnaire design, when you collect your data and you realize that in a particular question more than half of the population have not answered that particular question, then you have to redefine that question or you remove that question completely from your data. Okay, we are going to end this session for today. We are already getting to 1 hour. We're going to end this session for today. Now I expect you to practice. I'm going to upload this data alongside the video. You can use it to practice. Okay, practice and make sure you have good results. Okay, now in the next session we are going to look at how to code questionnaires or data that comes as open-ended questions. Okay, you're going to see how to code our data well with Maxqda. Now, if you have not subscribed for this channel, I urge you to subscribe for this channel, like the channel, so that you get notifications for new videos on data analysis for final year students. Thank you. See you all in the next session. And don't forget to subscribe. Very important.